What would you do if your enemy surrounded your city? If escape was impossible? If help seemed too far away? And the only condition for survival was humiliation? Imagine waking before dawn to the sound of war drums echoing across the hills. Smoke rising. Soldiers encamped at your gates. Your children clinging to you. Your leaders whispering in panic. Now imagine the enemy sending a message. You may live, but only if I gouge out your right eye. Not one person, not a soldier. Every man, every defender, every future hope of your city. This is not fiction. This is 1 Samuel chapter 11. The moment a reluctant man anointed in private must prove himself in public or watch a nation crumble. Israel had asked for a king. God had given them Saul. But a crown without courage is just decoration. Tonight, we step into the ancient dust of Jabesh-Gilead, where fear grips a city, where shame threatens a nation, and where the Spirit of God ignites an ordinary man into a warrior. Will Saul rise? Or will Israel fall? Let the story begin. 1 Samuel chapter 11. The threat from the east. Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh-Gilead. His army moved like a storm from the east, banners snapping, shields gleaming, spears upright like a forest of iron. They surrounded the city, cutting off escape, choking off hope. Inside Jabesh-Gilead, fear spread faster than fire. The elders of the city approached Nahash. "Make a treaty with us," they pleaded, "and we will serve you." But Nahash was not interested in partnership. He replied with cruelty sharpened by pride. "On this condition, I will make a treaty with you, that I gouge out the right eye of every one of you, and bring disgrace on all Israel." Silence fell like a blade. The right eye, the eye used to aim in battle. Remove it, and the men would be defenseless forever. The humiliation would echo across Israel. This was not just about conquest. This was about shame. The elders asked for mercy, not freedom, not victory, just time. "Give us 7 days," they said, "that we may send messengers through all the territory of Israel. Then, if there is no one to save us, we will give ourselves up to you." 7 days. 7 days to find a deliverer. 7 days before blindness. 7 days before disgrace. Nahash agreed. He was confident. After all, who would come? The message reaches Gibeah. The messengers traveled urgently, their sandals worn thin by desperation. They crossed valleys, climbed hills, and finally reached Gibeah, Saul's hometown. They spoke the words aloud before the people. As the message spread, the people lifted their voices and wept. No one moved. No one offered to fight. Tears flowed. Courage did not. Then, Saul came in from the field behind his oxen. Yes, the king. The man who had been anointed by Samuel. The man chosen by God. Still plowing. He saw the people weeping and asked, "What troubles the people that they weep?" They told him the words of the men of Jabesh. And something shifted. The Spirit of God rushed upon Saul when he heard these words. His anger burned greatly. This was no longer about politics. This was holy indignation. He took a yoke of oxen, cut them in pieces, and sent them throughout all the territory of Israel by the hand of messengers, saying, "Whoever does not come out after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done to his oxen." The message was clear. This was not optional. This was war. And the fear of the Lord fell upon the people, and they came out as one man. Cliffhanger moment. Would Israel truly unite? Or would fear fracture them again? An army rises. Saul mustered them at Bezek. The numbers were staggering. 300,000 men of Israel. 30,000 men of Judah. An army had risen in response. The messengers returned to Jabesh-Gilead with new words. "Tomorrow, by the time the sun is hot, you shall have salvation." When the men of Jabesh heard it, they were glad. Hope flickered again in a city under siege. Then they told Nahash, "Tomorrow we will give ourselves up to you, and you may do to us whatever seems good to you." Nahash likely smiled. He thought surrender was coming. But night was falling, and somewhere beyond the hills, Israel was moving. The night before battle, Saul divided the people into 3 companies. Under the cover of darkness, they approached the camp of the Ammonites. The air was thick, torches dim, armor quiet. They waited for the morning watch, the moment before dawn when soldiers are most weary. Then, like thunder tearing through the stillness, Israel struck. They attacked the Ammonites until the heat of the day. Panic erupted in the enemy camp. Confusion, shouting, chaos. The Ammonites were scattered, so that no two of them were left together. The siege was broken. Jabesh-Gilead was saved, and the right eyes of its men remained intact. A kingdom confirmed. Victory changes perception. The same people who doubted now remembered. The same voices that questioned Saul now defended him. The people said to Samuel, "Who is it that said, 'Shall Saul reign over us?' Bring the men, that we may put them to death." But Saul responded with unexpected mercy, "Not a man shall be put to death this day, for today the Lord has worked salvation in Israel." Notice this. Saul did not claim the glory. He declared the source, the Lord. Samuel then said to the people, "Come, let us go to Gilgal and there renew the kingdom." And all the people went to Gilgal. There they made Saul king before the Lord. There they offered peace offerings. And there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly. The private anointing had become public validation. The plowman had become commander. The hesitant man had become deliverer. The king had been confirmed. But this was only the beginning. Pause here. Feel the weight of this moment. A city was saved because one man responded when the Spirit of God stirred him. Israel moved as one when fear of the Lord replaced fear of the enemy. And Saul chose mercy over revenge. But here is the deeper question. What if Saul had stayed behind his oxen? What if he had said, "Someone else will handle this"? What if Israel had continued weeping instead of rising? History would have been different. Sometimes the difference between disgrace and deliverance is one person saying, "Enough." Maybe today, you feel surrounded. Maybe something threatens your peace, your family, your purpose. Maybe the enemy whispers humiliation. Maybe you feel outnumbered. But the same God who stirred Saul is still able to stir courage. The same God who scattered the Ammonites still works salvation. This chapter asks every viewer one question. When the moment comes, will you rise? If this story stirred something in you, don't let it end here. Go read 1 Samuel 11 for yourself. Reflect on where God may be calling you to act boldly. Comment below, "I will rise." Like this video if you want more cinematic Bible storytelling. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter in Israel's journey. Because the story doesn't stop at victory. Saul has been confirmed as king, but will he remain faithful? That is where the next chapter begins.